Miss Kristi here, and I am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make a cookies and cream milkshake. Believe it or not, we don't actually put any ice cream in this milkshake, and it still ends up creamy and tasting like cookies. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here.
All is calm and all is bright.
Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that we need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you need are 1 frozen banana, 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of ice cubes, and 3 Oreo cookies. The supplies you need are a cutting board, a blender, liquid measuring cup, a butter knife, a spoon, and a drinking glass with a straw, which is optional. Okay, great. Your hands are clean and my hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started making our cookies and cream milkshake. Like I said, we don't actually even put ice cream in this, and because we blend up a banana, it still ends up creamy. It's a little bit healthier with the banana in there too. So the first step is going to be to grab our banana. We need a frozen banana just because it helps with the consistency to make it that creamy milkshake. So we also need to then defrost this a little bit because cutting through this right now would be hard to do. So what we need to do is run this under warm water in our sink for about 30 seconds. So I'm just gonna put this under hot water, warm water, count to 30, and then we'll be able to cut it in half and pop it in our blender. So this is step 1, defrost the banana. Okay, so we just ran our banana under warm water in the sink for about 30 seconds. I just counted to 30, and now we can go ahead and cut it and pop it into our blender. So place your banana in front of you and grab your butter knife that we talked about in the supply list, and we're just going to cut this in half, which is also why we have a cutting board. So the best you can, just cut it in half, and if it's too hard to cut still, you can just put it back under the hot water for a few more seconds. We really just need to be able to slice through it and pop it in our blender. So we have 2 halves now. You can actually set this aside because we no longer need our butter knife. All right, now you need to grab your blender. So let me show you. Your blender may look like this, just kind of with a top. If that's what you're working with, awesome, put it right in front of you. Mine just looks a little bit different, so I'm going to take my top off and put my canister right in front of me. This is where we're gonna put everything in that needs to go into our cookies and cream milkshake. So take your banana, and usually the best way to get this out of the peel is just to push the end, and it kind of pops right out. So there's 1 half and the other half. 1 frozen banana. Next, we need 1 cup of milk. You can use regular milk, you can use almond milk. For this one, I'm just using regular milk. Makes it a bit creamier too, and then if you were to use like a non-dairy milk, but you can definitely do non-dairy as well. And we need 1 cup of milk. So grab your liquid measuring cup and your milk. When we measure things, it's best to have it on a flat surface. That way we get an even measure. So I'm gonna measure it up to the 1 cup line. Okay. You can put your milk to the side because we are done with that. And then just take your milk, pour it right into our blender container. All right, so 1 cup of milk goes in. And now we just need a cup of ice. So I'm gonna use the same liquid measuring cup because it's already here. We don't need to dirty another dish. And I'm just gonna put a cup of ice in here. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you get a little bit more ice, not a huge deal. So just 1 cup of ice. My hands are clean, which is good, which is why we washed them at the beginning. And you can kind of just fill it up to the best you can to that 1 cup line like we did with the milk. And then you can set your ice to the side if you have any extra. We just need about a cup. And then pour that right into your blender container. And you can set your measuring cup aside because we are done with that. Now, before we put our cookies in, we actually want to blend this up a little bit so it gets creamy. We'll take the top off and you'll see it kind of looks like a milkshake. So first, let's blend this for 20 seconds. I'm gonna plug in my blender and carefully put the top on. My blade's on the top, so I'm being very careful not to touch it. Maybe your blade is already in the inside. Just don't want to touch it. It's gonna be very sharp. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a shake just to try to get the banana down there. And now, like I said, we're gonna blend it for 20 seconds and then take it off and we'll do the next step. Okay, great. I counted to 20. I didn't even need to set a timer today. I just counted to 20, blended it for 20 seconds. And now we just wanna kind of make sure that the banana is blended and there's not any huge ice chunks. So I'm gonna carefully take my lid off. And you can kind of see it looks like ice cream, which is exciting. Now it's not gonna taste like cookies yet because all we have in here is milk, ice, and a banana. So if you tried it right now, it would not taste like cookies. And I'm just using my spoon to mix around to make sure there's no chunks in there, and there's not, which is great. Just gonna set this to the side. So now we get to put our cookies in because that's what gives it the flavor. So grab your cookies, and we need 3 Oreo cookies just because it's gonna make it taste like a cookies and cream. So that's why we're using Oreo. You could use different flavors. If you don't like Oreos and you like chocolate chip cookies, you could use chocolate chip cookies, a sugar cookie. But you need 3 big Oreos that we're gonna pop in here. I actually have, so this is more like a peanut butter flavor. You could do peanut butter Oreos. For the classic flavor, my Oreos today are just mini, so I'm using 9 small ones. But you just need either 3 big ones or about 9 mini ones. Like I said, my Oreos that are actually Oreo flavored are just mini in my house today, so that's why I have a couple mini ones. So we just need to pop them right into the blender. So either your 3 cookies or your 9 small ones, depending on what's in your kitchen today. And now we're basically just gonna blend this for 10 seconds. We need to crush up the Oreos and then we're done. So put your top back on carefully now that your cookies are popped into our milkshake mixture. I'm gonna put it back on and blend for 10 seconds. I'm not even gonna set a timer. I'm just gonna count to 10 and then we'll take it off and we'll take a look at it. Okay, this is exciting. I blended it 10 seconds. That's all it needed just to crush up those cookies. Now I'm gonna carefully take the top off. I'm gonna unplug my blender and move it to the side because we are done with it. And take my top off here. And as you can see, it's kind of brown and cookie looking like. Grab your cup here. I'm gonna take my straw out. You don't have to have a straw if you wanna drink your milkshake with a straw. Grab a straw. If not, you can drink it right out of the glass. And I'm just gonna take my spoon here and carefully pour it into my glass. If your blender has a spout, you probably don't need a spoon. Mine does not. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit in. And this will actually make a really big glass, and you might even have a little bit left over. So if you wanna make 2 of these, it would be enough for 2 small glasses. And so I've got a little bit left in there. I'll drink that later. Pop my straw in. And that's it. With just a couple ingredients and really 30 seconds in our blender, we have now made ourselves this yummy cookies and cream milkshake. Didn't even need ice cream because of that banana. It made it creamy. So I do hope you try and make it or try and make it again. And when you do, like I always say, let me know how it goes. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. I love getting to hear from you. You can even send me a picture of how your cookies and cream milkshake turned out. I'd love to get to see your creation. Maybe you did decide to put a little ice cream in there or used a different cookie flavor. The choices are yours when you cook for yourself in the kitchen. But when you do send it to me, maybe we'll get to share it next week. Again, I just love getting to see what you're creating. But speaking of next week though, let's talk about next week. On next week's episode, which is episode 30, we are learning how to make pizza muffins. We use crescent rolls to make these pizza muffins, and after a few minutes in the oven, they end up cheesy and fluffy and tasting like pizza. In order to cook along next week and make these pizza muffins, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen. For crescent rolls, 4 tablespoons of shredded cheese, 1 tablespoon of pizza sauce, your favorite pizza toppings, which is optional, and cooking spray. Well, friends, our time together today is almost over. I do hope you've enjoyed learning how to make this cookies and cream milkshake. It was super quick, it tastes good. It's just a good little treat that you can make yourself. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye, friends.